Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. We'll leave the beast to drown in sin and fight in vain their brutal war with Are you dreaming, or are you living? Been walking these same dead ends, dying this same death again and again. Prisoner of isolation, fingers clawing, bleeding truth, an endless fever haunting you. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. Faceless people, eyes in the shadows, been fighting a natural will, living to kill again and again. Soldiers of the provocation, careless drones to love immune, fear and loathing stalking you. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. We'll leave the beast to drown in sin and fight in vain their brutal war Prisoner of isolation. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. We'll leave the beast to drown people, eyes in the shadows, been fighting a natural will, living to kill again and again. Soldiers of the provocation, careless drones to love him, fear and loathing stalking you. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. We'll leave the beast to drown in sin and fight in vain their brutal war prisoner of isolation. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. We'll leave the beast to drown in sin and fight in vain their brutal war Are you dreaming, or are you living? Been walking these same dead ends, dying this same death again and again. Prisoner of isolation, fingers clawing, bleeding truth, an endless fever haunting you. Someday we'll be free again. lies in the shadow. Been fighting a natural will, living to kill again and again. Soldiers of love, provocation, careless drones to love immune, fear and loathing stalking you. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. Someday we'll be free again. We'll leave the beast to drown in sin and fight in vain their brutal war
Hello and welcome in everyone to another Amplitude Studio stream. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day today. We are excited and ready to start a very what should be productive stream today. I'm joined by two lovely guests today. For those of you that don't know me, I am Jordan Merrill, the Amplitude Studio streaming specialist, and I'm joined by Jean-Max and Victor Penon.
Penon, but
Penon.
it's alright.
All right, my accent could be improved, but yes, Jean-Maxime is the creative producer or director on Endless Dungeon, and then Victor Penon is one of the game designers.
Yeah.
And I guess we can start off by telling a little bit about yourselves. But before we jump into that, I'd just like to tell everybody, so the plan for today's stream is that we're going to have a rousing discussion about the second chance OpenDev for Endless Dungeon, talk about a lot of the new mechanics, new features that are included in this OpenDev, talk about the purpose of this OpenDev and kind of what we're trying to test and prepare for the inevitable launch of the game, and then answer some of your feedback that you've given us already from the people that have been playing the OpenDev over the weekend. So if that sounds good to you, then get situated, get your drink, and we'll get started. But yeah, some people probably know you, Jean-Max, since you've been on a few of our streams now. I mean, you've been on streams before I even got here, so the faces should be pretty familiar. But could you just give us a little quick recap of what you do?
Sure. So I joined Amplitude 5 years ago, and I am the creative director here, meaning I basically hold the vision for all our projects here at Amplitude, and I make sure that it is sound, that people at the studio participate in building the vision, and then that we carry this vision through to the finish line. Of course, many ideas will be thrown on deck during the journey, and it's also my job to say yes and no, and of course explain why in the process. But yeah, I deal with the game design, narrative, audio, art, music, sound design, pretty much every aspect of the creative vision.
Right. That makes sense. I was trying to think of a boat analogy for that.
Yeah.
Like, are you the guy in the crow's nest?
I'm the captain, I guess.
You're the person behind the wheel.
I'm the
Who's listening to the person in the crow's nest.
Yes, listening. Yeah, it's like I'm behind the wheel, but if there's nobody on the deck, I'll crash the boat.
Right, exactly.
Because
you can't row the helmsman. Thank you, Lancer.
Yes. No. So
I like it.
Yeah, it's
well, I guess
video
the captain's
games.
in their quarters below, and
yeah. I mean, I'm the creative director. I'm not the directive creator. It's different, so it's not. I'm not, the one that has all the ideas and then, explains them to people. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that needs to select the good ideas and explain why they're good and sometimes why some don't fit.
Makes sense to me. I like it. A good analogy goes a long ways.
Yes, yes. I probably need to work on that boat analogy for
when you're trying to explain to people what you do.
Yeah.
See, I have that. I have that trouble as well. They're like, "You play video games."
I mean,
people watch that?
well, think of a director on a movie.
Yeah.
You know, some of them will, direct the actors on set. Some of them will deal more with the lights. Some will more with the script, filmography. And some of them will not be involved in anything, practical, and will just talk to all the key people. So there's many ways to do it, but basically you're still holding the vision.
Right. I like it. Well, thank you for that explanation. Well done. I like that. And then Victor, I don't think I've had you as a guest on the stream before. It feels like a shame. You have excellent hair, might I say.
Thanks.
I've seen you around the office. Makes me miss my long hair. I used to have long hair during the pandemic. I grew it out. It was a lot of work, I gotta say. I don't think people realize, maybe guys, we don't realize how much work goes into long hair.
Yeah, it's been like not like for 5 years I have long years, but like I will go bald really slowly but surely. So I enjoy my hair while I can.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, give it another 10 years of working in the industry, you'll look like John Max over here.
Maybe five. So.
I'm just joking. I love you, bald head.
That's okay.
I think the bald head thing is kind of like, it's a really hard look. You know, it's like, don't mess with that guy.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, very cool. Tell us a little bit about what you do for Endless Dungeon. You're a game designer, so that's a little bit of a general term. Maybe get a little more specific for us.
I won't go in the boat analogy because I don't know where to put me, or maybe just Jean-Max give the long-term vision, and I'm micromanaging the step-by-step process to go to the Fun Island, if we call that. So I'm a game designer that focus more on the content side. So the weapons that you see, the device that you have seen, the heroes, I'm putting them in the game and try to make them work, and make them work together to make a fun experience. And so it's the part of the integration. They put the wonderful stuff our artist and sound make and put in the game and in the game engine. And balancing is like making sure that all the game is playable in the fun way, not too hard, not too easy, and also asking Jean-Max or just asking my link to put it to Jean-Max, does that feature fit well in the game? Is it a good idea? Do we have the, if it is a good idea, do we have the production force to make it? And yeah, I'm designing the game, but more on the macro level.
Right. You're like boots on the ground, you know. I get that.
Foot soldiers.
I mean, every step along the ladder is important, and I think that you're proving that, you know. So it's beautiful. People say you know what you're talking about. Sound knowledgeable. I like it. No, that's super cool. And so, thank you for the introduction. It's good having you. First off, I want to kind of recap OpenDev 1 and just kind of talk about where we've come from and where we are now. For those of you that are joining in on the stream just now, welcome. So OpenDev 1, we tested the core gameplay loop. We wanted to make sure that people liked the game. They liked the idea of the game, going around, building turrets, shooting monsters. And I think OpenDev 1 was a ringing success. People really liked the idea of the game. They liked the art of the game. We have some stats up on screen from OpenDev 1. We killed a lot of nibblers. The game is quite hard, it turns out. And people spent a lot of time in the saloon. Heck yeah. Also, we had some amazing content creators. Kiri was an amazing one of those. A lot of people died in the tutorial, which I don't know if that says more about the difficulty of the game or how good our tutorial is.
It was improved. We swear it was improved.
Yeah, we're improving the tutorial for sure. And looks like people have a thing for Zed. I mean, you got to have that DPS on the team. And we'll talk a little bit later about some of those archetypes. I want to kind of go into that since we have a new hero in OpenDev 2. Let's see. 26.9 thousand deaths. That's a lot of times. Piercing acid turret, which I feel like probably for OpenDev is going to have changed, seeing as we have the new monster family, the blobs, in the game, which, if you didn't know, acid is actually effective against the blobs. So, 13 or 19.3% made it to procedural factory. One player switched heroes 355 times in one run. Sheesh. I will say, playing as a solo player is quite difficult.
Yeah.
And that is actually another thing that I want to talk about a little bit later as well.
But I'd like to know how long that run was, because, you know...
That's a good question. 355 is not a small number.
No, it's not a small number, but you have to pit it against the length of the run to really, understand what went on.
Yeah, we need to dig deeper into the data.
That single point of data needs to be,
Or maybe it's just one of our developers that were testing the switch and making sure that it worked, and it might be someone we knew.
Maybe. So, OpenDev 2, Second Chance, OpenDev. I gotta get the names of these OpenDevs in my head. In our team's chats, we're just like OD2. but it's called the Second Chance OpenDev. And basically the idea with this OpenDev is to test out the co-op gameplay. And I think for a lot of the people that have played the game now, actually like the game even more than they did in OpenDev 1, partially because there's more content, more turrets, more characters, but I think also because the game is just funner to play with people. And I think that proves that, because people are having a blast going through the dungeon together, working together, maybe, messing with each other. I definitely have stood there just shoving my teammate back and forth for a bit. Can't lie. But anyways, so in OpenDev 2, our goal is to see how those features work, how we can make it as enjoyable for friends, people to get together and play the game, as well as we threw in a little bit of the meta progression, some hint of the meta progression into this one as well. So there's a lot of new things, and we're going to get into a bunch of different parts of that, but basically that's kind of what OpenDev Second Chance is about. So before we get started, is there anything you want to mention about OpenDev 2? Any things that you, I guess, as a director, are hoping for this OpenDev?
I mean, OpenDevs are all about getting players' feedback, so please keep it coming. We already have some early takeaways. It seems to be going well. There's also some concerns from certain players, which I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yep.
And that's perfectly why we're here. I mean, it's just every day is one step closer to release, and I just want to see that positive player sentiment grow and consolidate, and OpenDev is definitely a milestone in assessing how players feel, so
yeah,
can't wait to have the full data.
Yeah, 100%. So OpenDev 2, I would like to say that if anybody is interested in playing OpenDev 2, hasn't gotten access to OpenDev 2, or don't know that you've been given access yet, which sounds strange, but might actually be the case. Some people have noticed that on Games Together you've gotten the badge for getting access to OpenDev 2, but you're like, I didn't get an email saying I got invited. Well, you might have not opted into emails, which would have sent you one. So definitely go in and check if you have access to the playtest build, because you might have been given access already, you just didn't know it. But basically we have a link which we can use in chat for the OpenDev 2 sign up, and we are giving access to people basically every day, new people that sign up, and those people are getting access and starting to play the OpenDev. So there it is in the chat right now. Thank you, Sergio, one of our community managers over there. So, and then if there are any questions at all during this conversation, feel free to add us in the chat, and we will try and answer those questions at the end. But first off, let's talk about the new monster family. So we have in the trailer, Blaze is eating one of these creatures, but we're calling them the blobs, and they're kind of amorphous, pudgy, muscly, I don't know what they are, type of creatures, but they're super cool and they're definitely a vibe. I like them a lot. I hate the leecher though, because the leecher just comes and destroys my turrets. But they're a very cool family, and in fact, we didn't have a name in our concept art for the bottom right one.
That's the Evolver.
Evolver, okay.
Yeah.
See, we were talking about this beforehand. I was like, I saw 2 different art pieces of it. It doesn't have a head, I'm realizing.
It
has like a stump.
It's got eyes on its on its shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of freaky.
Basically, yeah. So the blobs, were born from experiments gone wrong. The objective with them was for them to be equally cute and disgusting, or funny and disgusting in some cases.
The mouth on the chest is quite grotesque, but
yes,
also kind of funny.
Yes, so that's what we went for, and it was all about this flesh-like aspect, but also some pretty. You'll see some rooms where it's like their flesh, like the actual environment is made of their flesh, and there's teeth popping out, like like these.
It kind of looks like vertebrae.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, and vertebrae
really
as well.
gross.
So it's like some people have teeth that grow in bizarre places, because of our cells sometimes going a bit crazy, and so they're the embodiment of crazy and disgusting, and at the same time a little bit cute. Yeah, I like them very much, and they're vulnerable to acid. Yes.
Yes. Very cool. I think they're a fantastic family. We got the bugs, we got the blobs, and we got the bots.
Yes.
I like it. We got 3 Bs. And that being said, since we have introduced a new monster family here, we will be introducing another monster family for the full game. So
will that
we
be
can't
another
talk
B?
about it. Chat, you might have to theorize here what the 4th monster family might be, but it could be a B. I'm not going to say it is.
It could be a B. It may be a B.
It may be a B. But
I'll put my money on another B.
You think it's going to be 4
well, you
Bs.
can't really. If you have 3 Bs and then a C, that's very, very disappointing.
It's a lower GPA for sure.
Yeah, very deceptive. So I think it's got to be 4 Bs.
Got to be 4 Bs. I like it. I think it has a better ring to it, though.
Yeah,
it's definitely true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, awesome.
See, that's the bulk of my job.
Yeah. Cool naming scheme. Let's go.
Initials. Come on, let's go.
It's been a tough day at work, but I figured it out. Oh, that's hilarious. Cool. All right. So that's a great kind of vision around those. We also saw something new on the labor colony, which is a new district. So there's essentially 3 districts in OpenDev Second Chance. You have the procedural factory and devotion garden, which were already in the first run OpenDev. But we've added labor colony, and labor colony is only accessible by getting a key. And you need to play the procedural factory first to get the key to go to the labor colony. And here are some of the images of the labor colony. You can see the different archetypes of the different rooms that have been made by our lovely artists. Shout out to our artists, they do a great job. And the labor colony is maybe a little bit harder than the other ones. And And as well, we encounter a special unit at the end, which is something that we hadn't seen before. And I think some people know what I'm talking about. But it is the Bug Mama.
Not a bee.
It's another bee, yeah. Well, it's still bugs.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah. But yeah, we have the Bug Mama.
nobody
which,
said anything about having different names. you know?
Exactly,
There's got to be bees.
and as you can see, Bug Mama is a bit frightening. Bug Mama is big, and Bug Mama hurts. The acid spray from Bug Mama, I'm very surprised at how much damage it actually does. But can you talk to us a little bit about the ideas with the bosses?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start and then I'll pass, the ball to Victor, who's getting huge amounts of love in the chat. So Labor Colony, basically, there's a number of districts in the game, 10 total, and each of them is going to tell its own story about the bigger picture of what is the station that these heroes are stranded on, why was it built, what purpose did it serve, how was it built, how did something go wrong, if so, how? So Labor Colony, without going into too much detail because I don't want to spoil anything, was definitely where the workers that did the heavy lifting worked. So that's for Labor Colony. And as for the bosses, well, who doesn't love buses? First and foremost,
Gotta have buses.
I think in a roguelite, with our atmosphere, tone, the arsenal that we have, and the premise of the game, it would have been extremely deceptive not to have them. They weren't there at the beginning. It was something that was added along the way, but I think it was a great call. But we can't talk about the other ones, so let's focus on Bug Mama. Victor, sorry, I've been.
No problem. So you can see Giant Spawner is our name, the dev name. So if I talked about the Giant Spawner, is the Bug Mama. Sorry, I'm kind of getting confused with the real name. But yeah, so you have surely encountered the Rolling Queen. That is the smaller version of the Bug Mama, and that will spawn some other creatures at random or not so random spots in your bases. So we thought about Bug Mama to be the bigger version of that creature and the origin of some of the bugs. And so you will find its egg. And so we thought about the bugs as a breath of fresh air in the flow of the game, because you won't be moving your crystal too much. You will have a central place to have a fight and then explore on the
Periphery
of this main place, and to have your how would you say, territory. You have to defend, branch out from a place that have the main threats of the boss, and so you will have to go back and forth between exploration, fight with the boss, and fight for the life of your crystal that still is attacked by some wave, and then you will have just for the presentation, you have the boss, and just behind the door that you have to access. So yeah, it's really breath of fresh air between having to find the door and just having the door there and a big creature in front of it. And yeah, the acid is really, really deadly. So yeah. I've died a lot of time testing the bug and testing the giant bug, the Bug Mama, and dying, especially on the acid.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's interesting. I feel like the Bug Mama is both really difficult, but also I almost feel like it died rather quickly. Like when you have a nice fire gun. I feel like you could pass through the phases very quickly. So as a player, I was almost a little sad that the fight didn't last a little longer, because I've played other games like Moonlighter and things like that, and like sometimes like boss fights can take like a long time, like up to like 10 minutes or something. You can be like, maybe not in Moonlighter, but I also noticed it was interesting that there weren't very many turret locations in the actual boss room. Is that intentional?
Yes, I mean, again, I'll pass the ball to Victor right away, but it's a way to twist the experience and spice up things a bit. So you're kind of losing your bearings for a moment, and then you have to think on your feet and adopt a new strategy, basically. As for your, getting over the challenge too quickly, there's
a lot of balancing.
There's a lot of balancing. You know, we're testing.
I'm also pretty good at the game, so you know.
Of course. So yeah, but maybe you want to add stuff on the.
On the difficulties, the key, one of the key elements for us for OpenDev to have some players play, and is this fight too difficult, too easy, and it's really knowledge for us that is really important. And for like not having turrets in the boss room, we have tested with turrets and without turrets, and we found that without turrets the fight is more interesting, because like you have to really focus on your heroes, but keep in mind that monster will attack your crystal, so loop around the monster and get back to your crystal fast enough to defend it. So it was like really a second way of playing the game, and fresh air in the experience.
One of the key balances that was tough to nail down, and could probably still use some work, was the balance between the damage you do with your heroes and damage that you do with your turrets. And it's a tough one to crack, because on one side you're a dual stick shooter, and with that come expectations. And at the same time, you're an amplitude game with tower defense, and there's expectations that come with that as well. And those expectations tend to completely contradict each other. So nailing that balance, I think, was one of the most major breakthroughs and milestones in development. And now we feel confident enough that we can do this kind of stuff where we shift things a bit, and it's okay to have phases where you're going to be relying more on your heroes and phases where you rely more on your turrets, but the core of the experience is really a tactical one. And there should always, you have heavy firepower, but it's first and foremost about how you explore the dungeon, how you build your tactics and strategy, how you lay your turrets, and then you need to make sure that the plan goes smoothly with your heroes. I mean, I'm not saying there's one way to play, but I mean that's the kind of the balance we had to reach.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I played, I just put a couple of amplifier turrets down in the room, and I just did a ton of damage with my heroes because they were boosted. I don't know if they stack, to be honest. So,
no, but we have some pro players in the dev team that pride themselves in finishing a run without firing a single bullet.
Wow!
And
that's incredible.
I don't know how that's possible, but they do it. It is possible.
Only.
Yeah, because like
no, you probably
a lot of stuff in our games are really overpowered if you invest hard enough your economy. So if you upgrade enough your turrets, do enough research, your turrets are really effective, and really like more effective than your base hero for a lot of situation. And for what you said, the bonus stacks between each other, but like not in a completely linear way. So but that's why you did a lot of you had a lot of firepower, but like you don't have some slow on the monster attacking crystal and having that. But it's for the balance of that we will find soon enough. Sorry, I just went in my mind and
No.
looping around the question because I forgot it.
No, you're totally fine.
Okay.
You're totally good. You're totally good. No. I mean, I think the boss experience was awesome, personally. I liked the balance of having to keep the waves of creatures at bay, and as well have the objective of like, I need to get a couple of shots in at the boss here and there. And then I also noticed that there were a lot of unpowered rooms in that level as well, with the boss. I feel like that was an interesting choice because I almost feel like I almost always had dust in the normal runs to power up the rooms that I needed to, but I felt like there were definitely some decisions that had to be made, which made it feel nice and kind of a little bit more risky.
Yeah. So I think the dust versus darkroom economy is definitely not as advanced as it will be in the end.
Launch, okay.
And it's definitely one more parameter we have to make the experience feel different from one zone to the next. What's funny is that we ditched the dark rooms at the beginning of development.
The dust mechanic is fairly new.
I mean, and it was
Very new.
horrible because I thought this is legacy from Dungeon of the Endless. I mean, we're a spiritual successor, but still that's very important. But we couldn't come up with a simple system, but that was way back when there was no real time. And yes, we're going to talk about real time. But now that it's in the game, I'm really happy, and we can do, I think, much more with them.
Yeah, it's one of our level of difficulty for the last district, that you will have really to choose which room you will light and which room you will have to build turrets or not to build turrets, so you will have to manage your defense accordingly to if that room is unlighted and you have like 3 other rooms that you want to light. Which room will you light? What will be the sacrifice of it? Because like we are thinking other way to use dust that I can talk about now, but like you will have also some dilemmas to where to invest all that stuff. So you like it will be a tension between having more defenses but not enough resources, and that's a resource that you find with exploration by opening more rooms and by
Maybe
extension
more spawners.
maybe more spawners and more dark rooms that you want to lead. So
it's part of 2 of the main driving forces behind finishing the game. One is to make sure that the experience is renewed throughout a run, with bosses, with dark rooms, other stuff that I can't talk about, and then making choices actually feel like you have to, you're really opting in something and not just spending. So that's not the only 2 things we have in mind, far from it, but it's definitely key in turning what we have now into the release game.
Okay, I like it. That is one really interesting. I didn't know the thing about the different uses for dust potentially maybe being added.
We don't know.
We don't know, but as well getting a little bit of insight into the decision making process about that. So it's very cool. Cool. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go next because there's a couple of things that we've mentioned. Specifically, let's talk about the turrets maybe a little bit. So the turrets definitely feel less strong in Second Chance OpenDev than they did in OpenDev 1. I think across the board people have said that, where like the basic turret feels not so great. It can't even keep back nibblers. Like I'm pretty sure like 5 shots a nibbler or something like that, which could be a balance thing. But I think in the way that the turret system works now, you only start off with 1 turret, which I believe is actually a huge important change that we've made, because I feel like in the first run OpenDev, industry was kind of just what you went for, and you almost didn't need to make any other generators. But now there's a very definite decision at the beginning of a game where you're like, do I get food because I want to get my levels? Do I want to get research because I want to start getting new turrets? Or do I want industry because I'm gonna need more industry to build turrets and generators in the future?
Yeah, what's funny is that the industry paradigm, if you will, is something we have in all our games, even the
it's
4Xs.
a very common.
It's also, I mean, it's at the core of the design that you need it to build it, and we also have this bias, I think, as players or human beings or whatever, to want to build more things and
More turrets, more better.
And but it's part of what I mean when I say, making choices more meaningful. That's got to do with, dust and its uses. It's also got to do with choosing between generators, obviously, yeah, we need to make industry, I mean, we need to make food and industry as appealing as industry. That's like the end goal. Sorry, what did I say? Food industry. Sorry, food and science as important
Exactly,
as industry. Sorry.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe it goes into a little bit of the information that's given to the player. I personally have watched many hours of streams already of people playing the game, people talking about the game. I myself have played hours and hours of the game. Me and the community team have played together. We streamed it. And one of the things that I'm noticing that some people are saying is that it usually comes down to they want more information about how things work. And I think it applies to a couple of different topics. So maybe we can get into these a little bit. One of them, I think the most obvious, is people were unaware that the different monster families had weaknesses. Full stop. They just didn't know that they did different damage, and they were maybe confused why they were getting overwhelmed, if they didn't have the right turrets and things like that, which obviously comes into other questions about how much of the game is RNG and how much of it is strategy. I actually had a game where I was playing with 2D Kiri last night, and I literally, throughout our entire run all the way to the boss, never had a chest give me a gun that I could use. So I finished the game. We won the game, and I had the basic gun still. And granted, we were able to research a phosphorus turret to help with the bugs, but I still didn't ever have a gun.
That's gonna change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that kind of goes into the whole, how do you make a strategy when it feels like certain things, you just don't know how it works. Like you don't know when the waves are coming. That's a big one.
That's I'd say that's the lesser evil of the three.
Yeah.
But the game does currently a bad job of communicating elemental weaknesses. Both in exposing them and making the player understand them, and then feedbacking them when it's happening. So we need to work on that. That's another thread we need to follow for release. And your problem with weapons is something that we can fine tune during generation, and it's not where it needs to be right now.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, for the RNG-based game, like we are a roguelike, so we want players to be able to control a lot of the RNG of the game. So being able to play even if you don't have your weapon of choice or if
you don't have the elemental damage that you need.
Yeah, but also we don't want for the game to feel too random and to be like I have access to that weapon, so I win the game. Otherwise, I lose. Is really not what we want. So, and yeah, for giving more information to the players, we want to have that. Like it's not our design to hide that kind of information. For the time-based wave, we will maybe talk after. So maybe we want the players to not have the exact numbers, but like have maybe a feeling of when the wave will come from, or at least when the
or what their actions do. 'Cause I
Yeah,
think a lot of
or-
people don't know what, because they know that the waves aren't on a timer that's always a certain time, but they don't know what different actions affect.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that we as the community would figure out over time, but it's
yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit of a mystery right now,
Yeah.
which feels, obviously people are kind of primed for what Dungeon of the Endless was, and obviously this isn't Dungeon of the Endless, which is, something that I think people just have to accept, because, if we wanted to make Dungeon of the Endless 2, we would have. But this is obviously...
I mean, we could talk about. I mean, we could talk about the elephant in the room, and we could explain how we started with turn-based gameplay,
Yeah.
just as in Dungeon of the Endless, and the dead end that it was, simply because you're in direct control of your characters, which was not the case. So maybe that's a subject for later during the stream, but there's it's not just get over it. It's a different game. No, not at all. It's we tried, and we couldn't find a way to make it work, and real time saved the game, like literally saved the creative vision of the game. It was boring as hell, simply because you have to travel manually from one end of the level to the next, whereas in Dungeon, you could basically
Just click, yeah.
send him over there, send her over there, do something else, and it was a completely different game. When you have a controller in hand, that gameplay becomes boring, because you have to do everything, every action one by one, sequenced. You can't multitask.
Yeah.
So it was terrible.
Yeah, the micromanaging, I think, would be a little bit of a buzzkill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just the amount of backtrack you will have to do to just put your heroes in the exact
Yeah.
places you want it to be, because for just the pace of the game, it was really good to go to our time-based waves. But from what we've heard from the community, of what I've read for now, is they needed some downtime, some time there when the game told them you are safe, except when you just go to another zone, so you don't have any spoilers, so you are safe. But more we have some time that you are safe, but we don't indicate the player that they are, so they feel rushed. But if you take the game, launch game, sorry, sorry, and find a spawner, kill your new wave. You can put down the controller and just time the time you will have another wave. You will see that it's really, really long, and it will decrease when you open doors, and decrease maybe fast, maybe too fast. We will see, but
So
we have some downtimes.
yeah. So in French we have a saying that I think you have the same in English. You need to not throw the baby with the bathwater.
Yes, we have the same thing.
Yes. So here I think what Victor just described is the most important thing. Players do not identify places or times where they are safe. And I think from that derives many things that are about why don't I see the timer, etc., etc. I like to fix that, exactly what Victor talked about, and we have many things in progress right now to alleviate that feeling. I personally, right now, I can change my opinion, but I don't think exposing the timer and all the parameters
Is the
it's gonna be more information, more data you want to understand, maybe dig deeper. It's gonna detract your attention from what's going on. And I like this feeling of keeping you on your toes. you need to be on your toes, but right now you're too much on your toes, right?
It feels maybe frantic, or that you can't relax and think about what your strategy is.
I mean, a completely different type of game, and certainly not something we can apply like as is. But if you look at a game series like, you know, especially the old ones like Resident Evil,
I've never
everywhere.
played it, but
You've never played Resident Evil?
I haven't. No, it's a scary game, right?
Yes.
So I don't play scary games. That's my answer.
Anyway,
I don't watch scary movies. I don't play scary games. Jordan likes to sleep well at night. Okay.
In Resident Evil, nowhere is safe,
Right.
except a certain type of room, which you know, you can call it typewriter rooms, because there's always a typewriter where you can save, and there's always throughout the series, I believe, the same music that plays. Very soothing music.
So it's like a Pavlovian type
Yeah.
thing.
So every time you open a door, you hope for that music to play, and when you're like, ah. Now I can, you know, finally rest. So it's not gonna happen like this, because we have different constraints. We're you know, procedurally generated. There's timed waves. It's not a linear and scripted experience like the early Resident Evils. But the experience, the feeling you get should be the same. That okay, I've done a good job. I can rest and plan for my next move.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I think if you're too much on your toes, then you just start spanning down turrets, and you don't think about where you're putting it or what your overall plan is. And I mean, I think that there's going to be people playing the game as well that aren't necessarily as hardcore dungeon crawler, you know, strategists. They're going to be a bit more like, hey, I just want to have fun with my friends. But if I feel like I don't even have time to put turrets down and explore, then, you know, it might be a bit too stressful, which is something that I think, I mean, from what you all have said, this is something that you're aware of, and it's something that you're actively working on, which is huge. And I think probably the community would appreciate that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just that I need to be clear that, you know, real time is here to stay.
Yeah.
Real time is here to stay. It's definitely a fundamental part of the DNA of this game. But now we need to make sure that, you know, it never detracts from the player experience and only, you know, makes it thrilling.
Yeah.
And it's not the case right now, and we're aware of that, and we're working on it.
I appreciate that. That's a very good response. No, I couldn't have said it better myself. Cool. I felt like then was the time maybe to start bringing up that, because we have a lot of other things to talk about. But I think that was a really important point for the community. But yeah, let's move on, talk about some other things, and we'll probably get back into some other topics later. But Shroom is our new hero. Let's talk about Shroom. Let's talk about the design. Let's talk about the abilities and the new archetype of hero that is a healer, support character. We have Bunker, which is a type of support in the sense that Bunker is a tank. But Shroom has a fun ability where they can heal your teammates, and then the ultimate is kind of a global heal that takes a little bit of time to fully come into effect. I don't know how to describe that, but I guess what was the idea with Shroom? Could we talk a little bit about?
So I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, how the character came about, and then maybe you can talk about more of the gameplay specifics, because you worked on on Shroom quite a bit. There's a pillar of the vision of the game that is basically, you know, galactic or space western. And we wanted to basically, you know, there's the saloon, there's the band, you know, and there's the sheriff, which is Bunker, there's the artificer, that's Blaze, and Zed is, you know, the gunslinger, but in her own death metal sci-fi way. But the archetypes are, you know, those. And for Shroom, it was, you know, in many Western movies, you have some kind of pharmacist crazy botanist that has, that can cure basically anything on the spot.
Magical home remedies.
Yes, home remedies, exactly. And we decided to go with that, and then visual research started, and it was about getting a bit crazy. So we got to this character that carries the plants, the incense, and is a healer.
Captures souls.
Captures soul. has the plague
Plague doctor.
doctor's mask. So we put many references into them, but that's how Shroom came about. And then if you want to talk about their gameplay, maybe.
So Shroom gameplay is mainly a healer. So their two abilities is healing for a nearby ally or herself, or themselves. Sorry for the province.
No,
is
you're fine.
there. And the ultimate is healing, but like you can't die if you are under a Shroom ultimate. So like
didn't
it's
know that.
it's a really literally a lifesaver. So or a panic button if for how do you put it?
Depends.
But for what we make their evolution on the run, you can branch out for like mainly focusing on their abilities and the heal, or they can upgrade their movement speed. So like more of a ambulance gameplay, rushing from one point to another to heal their teammates and maybe repair some turrets on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can level up their HP too, so to become like a healer tank that could face some monsters and like save Zed from a wave of monsters killing her. So their main mechanic, is to have a soul from enemies to be able to heal other heroes, and so
And they can collect those souls from any creatures dying.
yeah.
It was something I was trying to read with the like text. I was like, I don't have to kill the creatures. I just have to be by the creatures that are being killed to collect the souls.
To like you have to participate in the battle. Like we have some technicity behind the curtain that why you can gain a soul there and not there, and so you have to do that. I have one thing. It slipped my mind. Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry.
Great speakers always.
Yeah.
We lose our train of thought once in a while.
No, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and all of that they do, with this very hurried, walk and demeanor, and they're totally, always wanting to please, but not so confident at all. So I think they're a very funny character.
Yeah.
Very
Quirky.
likable, quirky and likable. Yeah.
And they have a special relationship with Dead that you can find more in the quest for their
Future
quest.
quests.
Future quests in their story and how it will unfold. And Jeff did a really good job on that.
That's
cool.
Jeff Spock, our narrative director.
Sorry. Yes,
I think most of our
Yeah,
community is
everyone knows, but I'm just
No, 100%. I mean, you just start
sorry.
throwing out random
could,
Jeffs.
could have been, I don't know, Jeff B.
Jeff
another Jeff B.
Bezos, yeah.
Jeff Bezos. See, another B.
Another bee. It's
Well,
all
Twitch,
about the
so.
bees, ladies and gentlemen. The birds and the bees.
Okay, let's give it away. Our fourth family is the Bezos.
Bezos. Yep.
They,
That's going to be the fourth.
A very rich family.
The
just
bugs, the
throwing
bots,
money.
they deliver
the blobs and the
packages
Bezos.
and they go on vacation outside the station in space.
Yeah. They're mostly mailmen.
Yeah.
They're just delivering packages across the station.
All right.
Oh goodness, cool. All right, what's next? Beverages. Let's talk about beverages. So some people have noticed that you can just find beverages. Is the only way to find beverages in chests?
No, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the other ways to
Okay.
get beverages, but like no, you will find some beverages in other ways than in chest in the station.
Okay.
But like
It's on the screen, so maybe we can
Yeah.
talk about it.
but like you will find some other way that the other than the ones in the
Okay, sorry.
OpenDev,
Okay.
second OpenDev.
I thought you meant this.
But like you will have to talk to the barman to equip one beverages that will shake things out a bit in your game, like changing the flow of melee, for example, that you leech HP from monsters, but like it will cost you HP. We plan for beverages to be like a game changer, or a little helper, or for someone to that wants more difficulty in the game to
A modifier.
really
New
really,
game plus situation.
in our like implementation of the game, we literally call them modifiers. Like they hold modifiers of the game. So yeah, it will be a way for us to change your experience, the experience of the game, without without keeping away the player's choices. Like you can always change your beverages, or if you don't like one, just don't pick one. It's not mandatory. Maybe to like for completionists it will be, but like
Right, achievements based off of actually using these beverages.
Yeah.
We will have Steam achievements, right?
yeah.
Yes, we will.
Good. That was a question that Kiri had because she's a
Yeah.
completionist, and she was like, if there's no achievements, I'm out."
Yeah. It's an OpenDev, so
Okay, good. No, she was just joking.
Yeah.
Obviously, didn't expect
Yeah.
there to be achievements in already, but yeah, no, that's very interesting. I mean, it feels reminiscent of the different pods from Dungeon of the Endless.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm curious if there is going to be synergies with the beverages and the way that you can upgrade your heroes. Because I think in some cases, some of the upgrades to the heroes, or maybe the chips, which we'll talk about in a second, maybe felt a bit basic. Maybe not exactly changing the way that you play the game. It's more about just doing more damage, or not taking as much damage, or having more health, or moving faster. I know that in Dungeon of the Endless, a lot of people really liked the ability to completely feel like your run is different. You're playing the game a completely different way. Is there any type of synergies with the beverages that would make you just have to play completely differently?
But like the beverages, I don't have
The list?
the in-game name of it.
Oh, okay.
But the beverages that make your turrets hurt themselves, but are really powerful. They are really powerful. Like if some heroes will have the abilities their abilities are linked with turrets and with their reparation. So you will maybe focus on the part in this hero of turret reparation and stuff. Or for example, our bloody melee that focus on the melee, you will find that bunker.
She has a hero upgrade that you
Yeah.
can get, but the hero upgrades are RNG and aren't the chips.
Yeah, but like
Right?
they I don't remember.
She's a robot.
Yeah, has a pass on with the shove damage and like return damage, so they can go to like in melee with monsters without fearing too much of losing too much HP. So like.
Right.
It will influence the path to take, and for maybe more advanced beverages, we have really strong effects and really, like we hope to have really game-changing effects.
Yeah.
That's
Some give and take, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
for example, like it's totally an example, but like if you can't upgrade your turrets, you will play really differently because like you don't have access to, for in a lot of stuff, but you will have another advantage. So it will be like a give and take for a lot of them, and if you don't use the give you and not change the gameplay, the game will be really harder. Maybe if you're good enough, you will just ignore the give, but like maybe try another cocktail. Beverages to play. Yeah, sorry,
Adult beverages. No, okay, yeah, no, very interesting. I think that the more opportunities that the players have to mix it up,
literally
mixed beverages, the better. So that's super cool. Very awesome. Let's see. So we talked a little bit about the incentives to go for other resources other than industry, and only starting with one turret. So is there anything else we want to mention about that?
Yeah, now, because I've played a lot of the game and testing the game, it's become more and more an economic game. So when I open doors, what resources will I need for the next step of my game? So we want to have that feeling for the players to be able to project themselves and what will I need for as resources. And for now, the game, we want you to build more turrets, but and so that's why they are less effective than before. But you will find that it really put a stress on your industry production. But like if you spam industry generators, their cost will be increased and increase too much. So you will have to diversify and to think more carefully about where you will invest your resources, and invest your resources in science to have more efficient turrets, so more efficient industry costs, and to have food to level up your heroes, or maybe focus on only two resources. But like for the discussion about the industry focused game, it's normal that the industry is really the favorites for at least for newcomers and
needed.
Because like without industry you don't have turrets.
Build a generator.
Yeah, you can build the generators, but you can build turrets, and if you don't build turrets you will die. So it's the no die resources, but like to win you will have to use all of your resources. And
I think it feels so much better in this OpenDev than the previous one. Just from playing it myself, I'm like, ooh, I went a science generator first because I had a research station in like my second room, and I was like, science right now, and I researched like 3 things with only 1 spawner, which almost feels like cheating, because I was like, I'm gonna just keep on spawning waves and ain't nothing they can do about it, like, because I didn't have any other spawners out there, and so it was just super easy to like farm like 3 researches real quick. But but it was awesome, because it was like that's the kind of fun RNG that I like, where it's like, oh, I got a sweet run for early science, I'm gonna do this. And it, I mean, sure, it might feel bad if you don't find a research station until much later, or if your research station gets destroyed and you don't actually end up getting the electrical damage before you start getting robots and things like that. But is there anything that you could speak to in regards to, some people may have felt like if you don't get the elemental damage that you need before you get the creature, you kind of are going to struggle really hard.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Like it's like I was really I tuned the system, and before it was like if you use the elemental resistance, you will deal nearly no damage, and like we just removed that and put it like the elemental weakness against fire against the bugs is effective, but like not overpowerful.
It's not godlike.
Yeah, it's not really not godlike. So you can use other, like the resistance. It will be hard, but manageable, and other damage type you can use. It will not. It will be suboptimal, and you will invest more resources. But it's totally manageable.
Would using an
That's-
electric gun instead of like the base gun be better against like a bug than your base gun would be?
Like your base gun, we
Because I feel like
thought
the
it
base
as
weapon is just kind
yeah.
of trash.
It's normal. You start with it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
free. So
Well, isn't it technically like a worse version of the actual gun itself? It's
For-
called like old or rusty
yeah,
or
yeah.
what's it
We
called?
have we had that on the OpenDev one.
Oh, it's not
which-
like that anymore. My
Yeah,
bad.
but it's not.
I take it back,
as,
chat.
No, because you're not completely in the wrong, because we have different generation for weapons that
Okay.
we, and your starting weapon are not the most advanced in generation. They don't have a lot of bonuses or no bonuses at all. So it's normal that other weapons are better, especially since normal damage, that is you start with normal damage weapon, are effective or not effective against all family. So it's normal that they have lower DPS, as the fact that is useful in every situation. That's why the basic turrets is less effective than the blazing overall. But if you find a family that
What's important to understand is that the bouncing will be going on
Yeah.
very much until the end, and probably even beyond the release once billions of people play the game.
Billions. You heard
Billions
it here first.
with a B.
With the B.
with the bee.
Came back
bee
to
trend.
the bees.
But the moment we fix elemental weaknesses feedbacks and people get them 100% of the time, that's going to change the way they play, and
Yeah.
we're going to have to balance the game accordingly. So it's your bouncing
It's
is
kind of
all
a dance.
it's always a dance. Your bouncing is only as good as as it is compared to the latest changes.
Yeah.
The next day could change. Of course, we know what's coming. We have an idea, but sometimes putting a controller into people's hands. I've been doing this for 20 years, and it's always a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, trust me. I mean, at Gamescom, I was just watching people play the game, and I'm like, what are they doing? I've never seen anybody do that before,
Yeah.
but they did it, and each person has a different way to play the game, which I think is really cool to see. Yeah, speaking of balancing, there was some big balance changes in OpenDev Second Chance, and a lot of it had to do with the number of monsters, the health and damage of monsters, and elite versions of monsters. So in first run OpenDev, I don't believe we had elite monsters, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's hard to. I mean, it's probably even harder for you two to keep everything separate of what was in which build, because I've seen in between builds, and our VIPs get a special build that I've played. So, but yes, there are elite variants to the monsters, and you can see on screen here they kind of have that darker effect to them. They are a pain in the butt, I gotta say. Good job. My least favorite is when the flying octopus zapper thing goes.
Leecher, yeah.
The leecher, thank you. Goes and attacks one of my turrets.
Sorry.
Because does it actually incapacitate the turret?
Yeah.
Because I know it saps health.
Yeah, but it stunned them too.
It
So,
stuns it. Okay.
yeah.
So it's kind of like the spider, where it binds your turret, but it actually
Yeah.
deals consistent damage once it gets up to it.
Yeah, but all the family have at least one turret and disabler to be able to go through your defenses, even if
If you leave them alone. Or,
yeah, if you have just 2, 3, 4 overpowered turrets right in front of the spawner, they will be able to get past that. So it's in order for the players to have a base that stretch a little, to
right,
have
kind of a multi-stage defenses.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. So
That's a really in-depth thought of how to actually make the tower defense mechanics quite have a little bit more depth.
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that actually. Well, I mean, I've definitely done the play of 2 EMP blast turrets after a bot thing, and you can almost two-shot all of the bots with 2 EMP turrets. which is very satisfying. I gotta tell you, it's very satisfying to have two of those next to each other.
It's also, I mean, talking about tactical depth of tower defense, where are, you know, some people ask, why can't you place them freely? Actually, I asked that question at the beginning of production quite a bit, but if you place them freely, then there is
Tons of exploits.
tons of exploits that pop up. So we need to keep it, you know, controlled. So, you know, we give you the tools, but there are a set of constrained tools because, you know, if you don't have these constraints, then the game isn't fun anymore. You have more freedom, but it's
Freedom
not fun
doesn't
anymore.
always mean fun, though. There's a really great analogy, speaking of...
In games, let's say.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't think about how that sounded. So there's an analogy, speaking of analogies, that is about a kite. And a kite won't fly unless there's someone holding onto the string, because you need that pressure holding the kite down so that it actually catches the air, because if you let go of a kite will fly and fall down. So in some cases, giving constraints to the player is actually a good thing because it drives ingenuity. And I actually feel like the strategy that I've had to employ during this second OpenDev is a lot more, partially because of the amplifier. Well, we had the amplifier in the first run, but we didn't have the shield. And so having these decisions where I'm like, I'm not going to load up the spawner room with a bunch of turrets, but I'm actually going to take 2 steps back, find a big room with a lot of slots, and use that as my choke point, because then I can amplify the turrets that I have in there. I can increase the defense of my generator that may be in that room. You know, I feel like I've had to take a little bit of more time to figure out things and actually be like, wait a moment. Normally, I feel like in OpenDev, first run OpenDev, I just kind of was like, 2 turrets and a jellifier, boom, because you had the jellifier from the start, and so I just put the jellifier on the spawner and 2 turrets to like just. And I could almost self-contain spawners that way, to be honest. But now it's like not the case.
The basic turret was way too overpowered for a long time.
Especially once you got it to level 2.
No, it was great. It was.
We had some questions actually. I don't know, Etienne, if you saw the question in the chat about people want to know how leveling up the turrets works. I don't know if that's something that we're trying to keep hidden about the actual mechanics of it, but it maybe feels inconsistent about when it levels up or what it takes to level it up.
Yeah, so for like as a general rule, our economy and cost, the cost of leveling up, I use the term cost very broadly, like even leveling up is still in the balancing phase. So like. Maybe we have some stuff to rebalance, especially on the level up. But
so like some people mention like the Tesla ball, it hits multiple targets, so it levels up like twice as fast as the other turrets.
It's based on the damage that's for the offensive turrets. It's based on the damage that they do. And yes.
See, I didn't know that. See, I've been doing my own theory crafting over here, where I'm like, I think we need to let the turrets like last hit them, kind of like in League of Legends, where you're like, let's last hit the minions.
Yeah, but like. It works because like you let the turrets deal more damage, so it will.
So it does level them up fast. So it was an incorrect belief, but a beneficial outcome.
Kind of correct solution.
Okay.
But like so we try to say that if your turrets are efficient and you're managing them, because like when they die, they lose their HP, the XP too. So they will take time to level up again. So if you manage good your turrets and they are placed in an efficient way, they will level up, and so you will be rewarded to like have. To think of your strategy and your placement and of your turret management, because like if you have some key turrets near spawner that is really efficient, but like it will be killed at each wave, they won't level up except if you manage it and you heal it back up.
You're keeping it protected.
So
I feel like that goes along with the idea or the goal that you all have of keeping generators being a very like you don't just make generators everywhere you
Yeah.
can. You actually have to choose which generators to protect because they don't come back. And the same way with losing the experience that a turret's been gaining every time it dies, you know, that's a risk and reward situation. Do you want to just leave it off there to farm, or do you want to keep it protected and level it up first? As far as visual cues to help you know how much experience it's getting before it's ready to level up, some people have suggested like an XP bar. That would be ugly as all get out. I don't like that idea. But maybe like a circle that kind of like progresses, like a small golden circle that kind of like, and then once it's complete, the whole thing glows gold.
So
that could be cute.
yeah, for I have a joke in the development team because like I came from math before design, so I say I love numbers, and so when you say I want to put more numbers in the game, usually I'm on, but like it will be really like you can have 7 turrets in one room. Imagine having 7 turrets in one room,
and
all firing
XP.
with XP increasing. It will be like a lot of information that is not relevant for like the in-game action. So we want to keep that not in your face, but we want to have your turrets that can level up on your minimap to be able to see where you should go to.
So you can see on your minimap turrets ready to level
you
up.
will be able. You can't right now, but you will. You will be able.
Got it.
But it's the same with the wave counter. I mean, sometimes more information is not better information.
Yeah, definitely. I just think maybe people, and I don't know. I've just read a lot of comments.
Again, balancing is going on. We're going to have playtests. There is OpenDev. You know, what I'm giving you is my opinion right now, and my opinion also sometimes changes based on, you know, seeing people play.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I completely agree with Victor.
Cool. I like it. All right, let's keep on moving. I don't know how much time we got. We still got time. Let's go. Alrighty. Questions about healing the turrets. We got a lot of questions about turrets. So some people were a little bit curious about the different kind of skills that each character has. One of them being wit. Also, could you answer a question that I haven't been able to find anybody that knows the answer to this question. So you have damage, defense, movement speed, you have wit, you have critical hit chance. What is the little arrow? The little like arrow going up. What is that skill?
The arrow going up and the menu. Sorry.
Yeah, if you're like doing the character select, it shows you all the different like abilities, and it's like, oh, this is a 5.
On
this
the
is a
character
10.
select.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the it should it will be explained a little more, but it's the focus of the character on their skills, the
like the abilities.
For example. Zed is a gunslinger that rely more on their gun than on their abilities that are strong, but like not their focus and their focus of leveling up. But the Shroom, we call the magic if I slip up. Their ability is really key on their archetype, hero archetype, so they will level up more their skills and have more of their abilities leveling up. Right.
This reminds me of like League of Legends, where it's like more ability damage versus basic attack damage. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the little squiggly line
I could
on
see
that.
It. Yeah.
Sorry. Dan's like, can I pause it in time?
Yeah, we need to make a better job of explaining these.
Yeah.
Well, and the interesting thing is when I've spent so much time trying to figure this out. I'm so sorry that I'm dumping this on you now. But when you go into the in-game screen, when you pause the game and you go into the character screen, it shows you like what items, what upgrades you've gotten, and then in the stats on the bottom, there's the firepower percentage and the shove damage that are 2 skills that are shown that aren't shown on here, but it also doesn't show the squiggly line one as well.
Because like we wanted for that menu to be clearer. No,
Yeah.
but like
or maybe
it
a
will
little
be,
bit quicker to look
like,
at.
it will be like quicker to look at and like to be able to see. Okay, if you see Z, she has 10 in damage, in firepower, and 7 in movement speed. So okay, that's a squishy gunslinger that is not really smart and not really smart. Doesn't have a lot of wit and doesn't have a lot of defense.
Not very intelligent.
No, because like it's my joke when
She's just longer at repairing turrets.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I got
Stop,
the
stop
thing
it
where
with the stigma. And,
no, sorry. It's just
I got
sorry.
the upgrade for Zed that makes you less wit
Right,
and more damage.
More damage, yeah.
I
So-
swear to you, it took 8 or 9 like shoves
Yeah.
to heal a turret. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Zed, you need to go home," and you're like, "Get Shroom over here. We need somebody else to heal this turret."
So really, even in the story, she's not stupid at all. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
more when I do my spreadsheets, it's like
It's
you know,
more of your professional proficiency at a certain
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah,
I
it's-
get it. I'm not trying to
But like for what you
intelligence
see
shame.
there, like she focuses on the 2 top stats and 1 of the bottom, and you see that Blaze is more for
More balanced.
more balanced, but more leaning more of more in a DPS style with
the crit
its,
chance.
yeah, with the
Can we
crit chance.
talk about the crit chance?
Yeah.
Doing a special elemental effect.
Yeah,
This isn't explained anywhere, I don't think yet.
yeah,
But if you have a fire gun and you shoot and you crit, there's a
Yeah.
chance to do like a chain explosion or something,
Yeah,
or
like-
some special thing.
Yeah, an explosion. That when you see boom on top of the monster, you did an area of effect that will inflict damage and burn the monsters. For electrical weapon, it will stun, chain stun
Like chain lightning.
Yeah, and
like it.
and just. Not inflicts as much damage to fire, but like stopping the monsters and their animation and their
Stuns
attack.
them.
Yeah, stun them. So
Ooh. How long is this time?
depends on your critical power.
Oh, so it's not even like how much chance you have to
yeah,
crit.
you have
It's actually
you
your-
have critical chance and critical power. Yeah.
I'm learning so many things. I love this.
So
I mean, I think it's important to talk about
Yeah.
this on stream because I think the depth of the amount of work that you guys are
Yeah.
putting into the mechanics and everything is super important for people to know because you could play the game and just never know that that's what was happening.
Yeah, but like if you don't really care, fire weapons go boom boom.
Yeah.
It's fun too. But like, sorry.
No, I was having a conversation with
yeah.
Kiri last night
Yeah.
about this where I was kind of, in my mind, I was thinking, I want to have like more information.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, knowing you're a 5 at damage and you're a 10 at damage is almost enough information sometimes to just be
Yeah.
like, I want the one that deals more pew pew, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like I feel like that's having that information available if you want it is good, but not having it be like shoved down your throat,
Yeah.
being like, well, you see, it's a 93% multiplier, and
Yeah,
I
but
don't know, you know.
like in the weapon description, you will have an idea of the power or the elemental power between as a contrast with just raw damage of the weapon. It will show that this weapon tends to stun enemies more than dealing damage. It will be shown in the description. And so if you want to look in depth, you can with the critical chance and the critical power.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as you said, you know, having information available is different from, you know, explaining everything actively to the player. You know, if you imagine a game like, you know, I always go back to Street Fighter, but, you know, Street Fighter you pick up and you just have fun. Imagine if before you know, selected your character, we explained to you all the frame data of all the recovery, active, you know.
That's usually where I stop playing those games. Actually, is because I look up the ability screen of like B B B
Yeah, but that's
Y
not-
X.
yeah, but that's the simple part. Like the pro players, they know
well.
you know, they know there's a startup number of frames, the active number of frames, and the recovery number of frames, and that dictates, you know, what move
how
you
fast you
use
can-
against your opponents based
Right.
on the situation, and it becomes this.
It's like more complicated
Amazing.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, Street Fighter is chess on steroids, but
Right.
Yeah, but like you have to have a level of technicity before reaching the strategic
yeah.
step. But like
I'm a button masher, I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
me too. To be really honest, I'm really bad at
Yeah,
at fighting
I
games.
can't remember that many different like combos. It's a lot, but cool. No, I like that. Thank you for clearing that up. For me, I was like, I don't know what the line means, the squiggly line. That's super cool. Okay, ability power, I like it.
Yeah, but like for elemental damage, all weapons that are elemental will have an effect, and some
What does the acid do?
acid it will poison the target, and you can use in especially against blobs that are like really HP heavy monsters. You can damage them over time, and they will die really faster than that. And we are still working on it to again balance it and to reach the sweet spots of you want the critical effect to be seen by the player and to be used and to be relevant and fun, and to not having them to present on the screen and like to be critical, because like we have some weapons that don't crit enough, some maybe crit too much, so we have to manage that.
Oh, and I have full confidence that the balance will happen over time, but I think it's cool to know that these things are in there, and that there's a rhyme to the reason, or a reason to the rhyme. Rhyme to the reason? I don't know, English. Good. All right. Let's see what we got here. So the wit, I think the original conversation that I was starting with was wit. That helps you repair your turrets. Some people, I don't know if they were just creating theories, if it increases the defense of turrets in the room, if you're standing in that room. Is that true?
If you upgrade wit, like in the hero grade,
Yeah.
you will find that you can link your wit stats with bonus on turrets.
So it makes turrets in the room that you're standing in do more damage.
We have that kind of upgrade and for the wit, and it will be useful for something that you haven't seen in the OpenDev. So
Victor's such a tease. Victor's over here just being like, there's so many things that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's my job to hype the content.
Heck yeah, hype away, brother. No, I did see the hero upgrade where you do more damage based off of your wit.
Yeah.
Well, the turrets in the room that you're in. But as of now, those are kind of the main uses for wit. There's no like secret wit operating status, because we have a lot of people that are suggesting that we have some sort of archetype that is like the brainy character, because in Dungeon of the Endless we had the operators, which could increase the output of generators if they were standing in the room with them, or things like that. Is there any...
turrets is main part of our game, and it will be normal to have some heroes focus more on the turrets than the gunfight, but like I can tell you more because it might be revealed soon.
Okay.
or soon enough.
What about if the wit helped the turrets level up faster if you were standing in the room?
So I don't know if I have the right to tell this, but there will be another use for wit beyond repairing turrets, and that I'm implementing right now as of yet. But like,
I need to spend more time in the endless dungeon room.
Yeah, I can spoil
Hey,
it.
Victor, can I come and hang out tomorrow?
Of course you can.
Cool.
You will have some other uses of the wit.
Okay.
For the wit, sorry, but like you will see, because like it's
all in good time, ladies and gentlemen. All in good time. I like it. Well, I'm sure that'll make a lot of people happy to know that
I hope so.
Wit will have. Well, I mean, because I mean, if you think about it, people feel very passionately about these different roles. You know, you had in Dungeon of the Endless, at least, you had a runner who ran the crystal. Maybe wasn't very good at fighting, but dang, they move fast. You know, and then you have a bunch of other different roles. Your tank, your DPS, your somebody who's wearing the hipster scarf that everybody wants to hit. Like, you can draw the aggro of everybody onto you. Like and I think that in Endless Dungeon, they want to see those type of things where it's like, oh my gosh, when Bunker steps in the room, everybody attacks her. Obviously, she has an ultimate that kind of does that. But, I think more of those things are just really exciting for people to see. Like, oh, sweet, I can specialize, which makes each character feel different, which makes each run feel different. And obviously, we only have 4 of the eventual 10 or so, 10 or more heroes.
No, it's 8.
8 heroes that will be in the launch. So many more combinations.
There's going to be many more combinations.
Speaking of math, what is a
the math
factorial?
I mean, the math is that you have way less heroes in Endless Dungeon than you had in Dungeon of the Endless.
True.
That's only because it's immensely more costly to build a character in Endless Dungeon than it was in Dungeon of the Endless.
Yeah.
The art style, the animations,
3D,
the
special effects.
Everything is not on the same scale at all. So. I would understand it, I get it when people say, I want more heroes, but we're pouring our hearts into making those 8 feel distinct and, likable, fun to play and to spend time with. So I'm not going to say it's a case of quality versus quantity, because I do think there was quality in all of the heroes of Dungeon of the Endless.
Yeah.
But in a way, we are trying to focus more on where it counts.
Well, and in Dungeon of the Endless, you had the conversations in the elevator, but in Endless Dungeon, you're going to have full-blown interactions between these characters.
Yes.
So I think it's just on a different scale, right? Yeah. It's not, like you're saying, it's not about quantity versus quality, it's more about the scale.
Yes.
And how deep you're getting into these stories, which honestly, for somebody who loves the lore, is incredible. I really haven't heard much about any of the lore from Jeff because he's been too busy in the past, I don't know. I don't know how long, but
50 years.
Yeah. Oh, that's too real. But so it's going to be amazing. I'm very excited to see that type of depth and polish added to the characters, and the attachment that I feel to Ken from Dungeon of the Endless, I'm sure can only be increased, built upon in Endless Dungeon. So
just seeing the one design that I made with VFX and the 3D asset VFX, and just seeing them walk around in the room killing monster and stuff, it's really amazing.
The rigging,
and seeing the
animation,
the PowerPoint comes to life is an amazing process. Really, and it's blow my mind sometimes.
Heck yeah. All right, let's get to some of the feedback that we got from this last weekend. So people have been playing the OpenDev a lot. They've been diving in. And speaking of, I would like to take a moment to shout out... we got a question from the community. I'll get to that question in just a second, Sergio. If you are playing the OpenDev, we currently have something called the Wall of Fame. Essentially, we have some stats that we're keeping track of, and people that are in the top leaderboards of these different trackers are actually going to get some special Games Together badges. So if you haven't already gone onto Games Together, definitely sign up for an account over there. Well, you probably would have to if you wanted to access the OpenDev anyways. But then we have a thread about that where you can actually check. We're updating it quite frequently as the leaderboards shift from day to day. So some people have gotten surpassed. Currently, kill the most monsters is Dark Arrow, which we're gonna have a conversation about that Dark Arrow, because I mean, I don't know what in the spirit we're doing this here. If a dev can win one of these challenges, but I think Dark Arrow is graciously bowing out of the competition, but wants some recognition right now. So we have killed the most monsters, opened the fewest doors, which is an interesting one. I feel like because you're missing out on resources, I guess is the trade-off there.
Yeah.
But their name Bubble Tea is winning on that one. Build the fewest turrets, Dageki, with 8 turrets. I cannot imagine surviving with only 8 turrets throughout the whole run.
Yeah, but like if you combine with open the fewest door and like really have some
Limiting the amount of spawners you
have
interact with.
a lot of luck in skipping some spawners and really going heavily on food and your hero upgrades. Your hero can be monsters at the end of their leveling. So I think it is manageable to done that. I would be really interesting to know the damage on the hero and on the crystal on the run, because like it would be a really like challenge run and really interesting run. And yeah,
I
but
wonder
like
if Dageki recorded the run.
yeah, I hope so.
Dageki, are you in chat? Are any of these people in chat other than Dark Arrow?
Yeah, a bit Dr. Ro, please.
I guess it's just Bubble Tea and Dageki, because Dageki is also the leader in the melee cocktail run. Monsters killed per minute. 24 monsters per minute. But there's not even a wave every minute, though.
If you
That's
unslot
an
your
average.
crystal
Yeah.
and you
Wow.
can be in the permanent wave, it would be really difficult. But
But you still have to...
to
Oh, you're saying if you just walk around with the
Yeah.
crystal the whole time.
yeah, and
No shot that works. What? Have you on
Like-
the dev team done that?
Someone,
it's-
if it exists, someone's done it.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, but like it's. I don't think we like for maybe the open dev, but like for the final game, if you manage to do that, it will be really impressive, especially with the cocktail on the the beverage on that's a
The
cocktail.
melee cocktail, yeah. Oh, I see it still says cocktail. Hey, we need to talk to our design. Are you graphics?
It was
It wasn't your fault this
Yeah,
time.
it's our dev name, so
Yeah, no. Fair enough.
But yeah.
Cool. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that if you are playing the OpenDev, keep your eye on the leaderboards, and if you're interested in trying to grind for one of the top spots, you can get a spicy Games Together badge, which Games Together badges give you all points, which increases your influence in votes and upvoting posts, threads, things like that, things that you feel need to see the light of day. But yeah, all right, feedback from the community from the past weekend. Let's get into it. All right, so first point of feedback, people want to be able to give the crystal more commands, aka telling it to go back to the crystal slot or moving on to the final door. Currently, you have to go to the location to do it. Now, something that I've noticed, here's my opinion on this piece of feedback so far, is that as a team, it's a lot easier to coordinate and be like, you go to the final door and be there ready, because once we drill this thing, if you're going to get like one of the crystal shards, then you can be ready to do the next thing. But if you're a solo player trying to control the AI, it can be kind of hard to manage all of that, especially since you can't tell the AI, hey, go wait over here. You have to go and control the AI, move it over there, and then tell them to stay, and then switch back. Which takes time, and since you're mentioning the micro is something that we want to avoid because it feels a little tedious. Is there any thoughts about maybe how we can help players that are feeling this?
So the crystal slot bit is hard because there can be several slots open. So then it becomes which slot you want to, and then it's a kind of worms that I'd rather leave, unopened. The final door is one we could maybe think of something for. So we need to look at that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but like it was one of my first feedback when I got into the team in the game. But like if we have to put really the specs, like the technical term of how can we tell the crystal to do an action that is in the flow of the game, it will be really it is really difficult and it is really costly for the team to have it balanced and to understand what the player wants, because if you are in your final wave, you drill and the crystal go back to its original place, it will blow your mind and probably your game. So we have that in mind, especially us, because the AI is has the one to give more orders to the AI is one that a lot of members of the team has, and it is a stuff that we have really in mind. But the technicity of it is really complicated. Maybe we can find some wiggle room to make it more manageable, or to have the crystal go for when it drills the crystal shard, it will go to the nearest controlled hero, and so as we want you to escort the crystal, maybe we want we will make the wave harder to really make you focus on the crystal, so it's kind of normal for you to be around your crystal and to follow it on its path. So we have tried something like that, and we are still working on the flow of giving orders to AI and to crystal. But it's a really more difficult question that
it's not as simple as just saying, we'll just tell the crystal to go over there.
No.
Right, you have to think about how you would control that, on a controller versus on a keyboard and mouse. I mean, I think that there are a lot of interesting bits in there to think about. As far as the AI itself if you're playing solo, because I think a lot of solo players right now are maybe feeling like the AI of the characters that they aren't controlling maybe isn't as helpful. Maybe. Some people have mentioned things like if you're trying to defend your crystal, some monsters will run past and your hero will just kind of not attack them if they're outside of their range of what they're interested in. Some people have suggested maybe creating a patrol path, kind of like how in StarCraft you can say, hey, patrol from here to here and do a little movement. These are just ideas, this is what this is all about. We're just here talking, but
we can talk about these ideas. So actually in the game right now they have somewhat of a patrol range, or so if monsters go into in a invisible bubble around them, they will try to go to the monster or to kill the monster. But if you imagine, you have to say to your AI, patrol from one point to another. So you will have to control your hero, press a button, go to the next point of patrol, repress a button so it will patrol. You will open another door. Okay, its patrol course will have to change. So switch to your hero and patrol, and it will be tedious, maybe even not as effective as it sounds, and just not what we want you to. We want you to think about your placement, maybe switch more, but not.
I mean, we want the experience to be dynamic and very much be about switching and performing different things, but we deliberately made them smart enough to take care of themselves, but not smart enough that they would take away from the player's enjoyment and experience. Because if I have AI that kills everything, I mean, of course it can sound like it's the best thing, but actually then you're just going to be playing and it moves around the dungeon alone, then it becomes, well, why don't you make this a solo game and divide the number of monsters by 3? So and
I don't know if people are necessarily suggesting that the AI play itself, but I think things like some people have suggested having a command that you can tell the AI to protect the crystal. So while the crystal's moving, you could say, hey, AI, you follow the crystal and protect the crystal as it's moving. And then I can go off and shoot things off on the side. Because currently you can only, you know,
I mean,
tell it to follow you, the other player.
We're gonna look at all that. I mean, as Victor says, this is ongoing things here that we're thinking about. Of course, we're gonna look at this again in the light of the feedback from OpenDev. Again, it's always the same. Like, what sounds nice and simple is often, you know, put to the test by reality, and it becomes. It becomes, you know, okay, they scored the crystal, but okay, what other points of interest are going to be on the crystal's path that you're going to feel like the gunner should, you know, take a moment to protect that as well. And does, you know, our animation system support the fact that they'll, you know, they'll be moving along a path and then shooting on all sides? Actually, I think it's fine, but it's not to say we're not going to do it. It's not.
Oh yeah.
It's just.
I'm just taking this
you know,
opportunity.
It's just. Of course, it's just that, you know, I also used to be like, oh yeah, wow. You know, when I didn't make games, I thought everything was, you know, well, it's easy. Why didn't they do this? You know, and then when you make games, you understand that you know, it's not always as simple as that. That being said, the number of commands and how you relate to the AI is something we can still improve on, and it's great feedback.
Trust me, I didn't include any of the truly interesting ideas on this. There are a lot of people with really good ideas out there, and like you said, I think there is a certain healthy dose of reality as a gamer that you have to have, that certain things are just not feasible to just throw into a video game, you know. And so I appreciate you providing your experience. You've obviously worked in the industry for a bit. And your knowledge about, you know, what we can and can't do for specifically Endless Dungeon.
I mean, we will always listen to the ideas, and very often, you know, pick some and include them. But we're also very much aware that, you know, again, in French we say false good ideas. Like, so there are a number of ideas that sound awesome on the surface,
good on the outside, but
and then you dig, you know, sometimes not for that long, and you realize it actually tips the balance of the entire gameplay in the wrong direction, or
but like, on a positive note, we have also to fine-tune the behavior of AI with certain gun. So
like with the charged weapons, I think?
With the charged weapon, or even with like, maybe they encounter a little bugs that they won't shoot with bugs or any monsters passing through. It's we have to again balance the game and fine-tune the behavior of AI with each gun. Like, we have that possibility in data, and our team is, and me especially, are in charge of that. So, but like, we want to finalize the concept of the game and fine-tune these kind of behaviors. So if you have seen an AI just that doesn't shoot on the monster, that just goes straight through, and they should have shot the monster, it's probably a bug. Where I'm sorry, because like I let it slip. I'm really sorry, but like I hope in the final game that you will not see that, or see that maybe once in your whole playthrough.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's totally fair. Obviously, this is a in development build of the game, and we're trying to test certain systems, so I don't think anybody expects this to be perfect. I think we just have a lot of ideas from the community, which is perfect, and that's and keep on sharing them, please. If you have any ideas from playing the OpenDev Second Chance build, please do head on to the forums, start chatting. Be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation, because if you have thoughts, if you have ideas, if you've noticed things, we need you. You're integral to this process of development. Because like Jean-Max earlier said, he's the helmsman. He has the role to keep the vision, but a lot of that, you know, ideas can come from
and you know, I realize what I said about, you know, some ideas sometimes looking great on the surface and not so much when you put them to the test. That may sound a bit negative, but that's not what I mean at all. You know, because the upside to all that feedback is that sometimes we are too close to things, and you give us ideas that, you know, get us thinking or remind us of something, or that we can apply right away, and it works. And so, you know, it really goes both ways, and that's why this, you know, I think this exchange is so fruitful in the end. So, yeah, super important that you know, if you think of a way to improve the game, tell us. We might, you know, not use it, not agree. That's not even the point. It's about, you know, exchanging. This is actually what happens between us here, right? So it's like being in a team, really, yeah.
And like we are, like for me, I think I'm one of the worst playtester of our game. Like I know it too much. Like I know its system, how they work, and so if something is not clear, if something is strange, like my job is knowing how to take a step back. But like I understand the system of the game. So, and that's normal that you don't. And if something is strange for you, it's really important to tell us, because like we can't have a clear state of mind of the game. Like we have always past knowledge on it, and so like your feedback is really important.
Yeah.
Even just being able to have an accurate idea of what the game is so hard to have, because you have the perspective of, I know what this used to be. And that can be so difficult to detach yourself, what you're attached to with the idea. Like you were saying, before we had the timed waves, you would have thought, oh, it's essential to have, you know, the door method. But then you find a new way, and...
there was a point in time where I firmly believed that would never go away, and, you know, it was... really of the utmost importance that we keep it that way.
Yeah, so I think that
and I was wrong.
Yeah, and it's amazing to be able to, you know, come to the point where you can detach yourself from that. But like you were saying, some things it's really hard to, and you can't see the world from a different perspective, because the only perspective you have is your own. And so that's why, as a community, you are essential to our process here at Amplitude Studios to create the best game that we can make. And we're humans, we're all people here, we're all going to work, we all have lives, you know, problems, whatever, and we're passionate about making the games. We love our jobs, and so, you know, we're doing our best, and we really appreciate all the support, all the communication, the feedback. We really do. You know, there's a lot of you with really great ideas, and like Jean-Max was saying, a lot of those ideas, whether you may realize it or not, have made it into a game and have changed the course of how the game turned out.
And sometimes an idea we will, you know, end up dismissing. We'll start a discussion that is fruitful for the game.
Yeah, it may not actually go into the game, but it might trigger something.
Exactly. So it's super valuable. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Well, that's about all the time that we have for.
Okay.
I'm sure that we'll have many, many more questions, many more bits of feedback on games together, but for now, that's where we're going to end it. If there are more questions and things like that on games together, our designers, I know you all are actively participating on the platform, on games together, answering people's questions. So don't feel like just because maybe we didn't answer your question here today that it won't ever get answered. We have our active community managers, Sergio and Stephanie, that are keeping an eye and interacting with on the forums, as well as designers from the Endless Dungeon team. So before we end, is there any you know, really pressing questions from the community that we should answer? I realized that I didn't leave too much time for answering the community the stream questions. We just had so many good conversations that I kind of got, you know.
We like to talk too much.
I mean, you get me in a room, we'll talk for hours. It's a blessing and a curse. They call it the gift of gab.
Yeah. Yeah.
Morty says, taking a step back is the hardest thing for a developer. Not even sure if it is possible. You'll never see your game as a player, discovering it for the first time. In a way, it's kind of sad, honestly. I think it's sad. Like, One of my favorite experiences was playing Breath of the Wild for the first time. I got chills. I got literal goosebumps on my arm when I like popped out of that cave. And I can imagine like there's a lot of the designers that like spent hours like working on that sequence or whatever that are just like, I've seen it 100 times and just lost the magic.
Yeah, but like
It's it's as you said, it's a gift and a curse. You know, working in games. Sometimes it feels like you could get fed up with your own hobby. But I think, I mean, the way when I started working in games, the games I would play in my free time, like not the ones I would play for work, but the ones I would play for my free time, I would have more trouble to enjoy them because I would always be analyzing something.
No, I get that.
And
you
that
think
was
about it from a design perspective.
And there was a point where I could do both at the same time, like truly enjoy myself and still think. And that was, I don't know, 15 years ago, and since then it's been smooth sailing.
That's good, yeah.
But like for the feeling you described, I feel like as a designer, if I see a player have that feeling, I feel like the chill of this person is having fun on my game of something I made or participate in is really a feeling that is amazing too. Like it's not the discovery of the game, but like having just players play and enjoy the game is really a really amazing feeling. And I think like as a designer, you can only have that feeling if you are the designer of the creator of something.
It's like being a parent.
Yeah.
Well, in some way, it's like being a
Yeah.
parent. If you don't have kids, you'll never know how it feels to have kids. I mean, if you don't make a game, you'll never know how it feels to have people play your game. It's not a perfect analogy. Come on.
You know, I think it's a universal analogy because you could say that about everything.
Yeah, sure. The food, whatever you made, people ate it.
Let's
I don't
stick
know.
to the boat and the kite.
Okay, we got two good analogies that we're working with. That's it.
We should iterate on those. Before.
One last question, and then we'll get you all on home. Will there be melee heroes? So this is a question that we actually discussed during the OpenDev 1 debrief. So I think it'd be good to talk about it maybe briefly, but just know that we have already addressed this question. The one point that I have seen that's new that has been brought up was specifically, you mentioned it, Victor, Bunker's melee ability, the shove, actually gives you back health. Now, some have argued that if you have a shove ability, it's already a melee ability, so how hard... Because I believe the discussion I think you and I had last time was, we have close-range guns, which, by the way, the fire, like, flamethrower little burst gun, amazing. That's my favorite weapon. I call it the sneezy gun, because it feels like you're just going, choo! And it's just like, whoosh. But anyways, close-range weapons... For some people, aren't doing it, and they want to be able to go and get a little Scroig action up in there. For those of you that don't know, Scroig was a notorious melee character from Dungeon of the Endless. Talk to us. If we can have Bunker that can melee, is there not room for somebody that could be an only melee character?
It's not something we have in mind right now, so... All our characters have melee abilities at work the same but have different effects. Could that be an idea for the future? Sure, why not? But not in the base game. With only 8 heroes, we need it to be like as focused as possible.
Like if you take the right upgrade path for bunkers, you can play melee and really be more effective melee than shooting.
Yeah, I mean the way I understand the question is, could there be almost a no gun character that plays melee, and that's not on the table right now.
I'm interested to see a full melee build of Bunker, because I don't think I've seen it yet. I haven't seen anybody's video about it on YouTube. Of a here's my melee Bunker build, but I'd love to see it actually.
When you have a gun, and you have the ability to shoot, you will shoot even if you can melee too, and be more effective with melee. Like it's instinct of
bias,
but like you can try like have a only melee bunker, and you will see it can be really effective.
All right, there's your homework, chat. All right, I want to see your videos. Post it to YouTube, at me, tweet at me, and be like, Jordan, here's my bunker melee build, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's a very fair response. I think from what you've mentioned about the vision of having these kind of space western archetypal characters for the OG8, let's call them. I think that's a very fair, hey, we need these things. This is what we're gonna have, and you left the door open. Maybe in the future. I think that that's a very fair way to put it, and a good response. So, thank you for that. I think that's all the time that we have for today, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here, participating in this dev interview stream. Thank you, Jean-Max and Victor for being here.
Thank you, Jordan.
It's been a pleasure, honestly. We'll need to play some Endless Dungeon, maybe on stream, maybe when it comes out. Who knows?
Yeah.
2023, ladies and gentlemen, 2023.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Just as a quick reminder, tomorrow we will be having another OpenDev Second Chance stream, and I'm going to be playing the OpenDev with two other lovely people. I'm going to be playing with Old Man Sethis and Coco Confessions, which are two amazing content creators. I hope that you'll join us. It'll be tomorrow starting at 6 p.m., which is our normal humankind time on Thursdays, but we're actually going to be doing it on Wednesday because we realized that Thursday is actually Thanksgiving, so we're doing it on a Wednesday. But anyways, that's what we're planning on doing tomorrow. So we'll hope to see you all there. Definitely tune in, and yeah, that's it.
Thanks.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you guys, and thanks to Etienne for the video work.
Amazing producing from our producer Etienne.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a fantastic night.
You? Nah. You don't have what it takes.
Dude, hold on. Yeah, the dungeon is a real downer. And getting eaten so often crushes my vibe. But with a squad this rad, we've got what it takes. Zed's the grooviest. Bunker keeps us all safe. And Blaze makes things explode. Yay. We are one... Oh, wait. Groovy. One happy family. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, ah. Woo! Ha, take that. Oh, that's me. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, that's a good strategy. Pew. Oh, sorry. Hope that didn't hurt.